After Canada's government accidentally praised a real-life former Nazi in his 90s last week, many began to bring up the number of pro-Nazi fighters that are in Ukraine, like the Azov Battalion and others. To be clear, Russia and Putin's propaganda says that basically Ukraine is completely controlled by Nazis. That's not remotely true. But there are a good number of Nazi individuals and groups fighting on the Ukraine side there, and a lot of US dollars are going towards those efforts. This led pundit Glenn Greenwald to share this on social. The most bizarre and surreal event in the last decade of U.S. politics, and it's obviously a hefty competition, is watching U.S. liberals who see Nazis and Hitler under every MAGA hat finally encounter real-deal Nazis in Ukraine, and they are eager to arm, fund, and revere them. Greenwald ain't kidding. MSNBC's Joy Reid is worried about emerging fascism on the right, real or imagined.
And right now we are in a sort of 1930s moment. Hate, specifically anti-Semitism, and white nationalism, they're on the rise on the American right.
Hey, Joy, check out some of these guys in Ukraine.
Allegations of a Nazi element in Ukraine.
Here's Rachel Maddow worried about the fascist message.
Donald Trump isn't great at this message. Elon Musk isn't great at this message. Kanye West is not great at this message.
Yeah, like those are all really the same guys with the same message. Liar.
Because it means we need to have kind of a permanent anti-fascist consciousness as a country.
I've got an idea. Why don't we be anti-fascist by no longer funding these guys?
The Azov Battalion, that is said to be Nazi-affiliated organization operating as a militia in your country. What should Americans know about that unit?
So Azov was one of those many battalions. They are what they are.
The presence of neo-Nazis in Ukraine is nothing to be concerned about, according to mainstream outlets in the U.S., despite reporting on it themselves just a few years ago.
President Joe Biden is a little more polite. He says the right is just semi-fascist.
What we're seeing now is either the beginning or the death knell of an extreme MAGA philosophy. It's not just Trump. It's the entire philosophy that underpins the I'm going to say something. It's like semi-fascism.
Hey, Joe, here's some full-blown fascism.
Presents this is, of course, the openly neo-Nazi Congress in 2018 banned any U.S. assistance to Azov. But all of a sudden, since the February invasion, it's like all that recent history is forgotten.
Lev Galinkin is a Ukrainian-American journalist who has covered this issue throughout this conflict, and he made a point very similar to Glenn Greenwald's.
It's pretty insane that every time Marjorie Taylor Greene sneezes, it's the second coming of Hitler. And yet, here we have two brigades of neo-Nazis, and we're perfectly fine with it. So, I mean, the way I look at it is you can support Ukraine without glorifying, without whitewashing neo-Nazis. And it's insane that we are doing this. I think if I was reporting on neo-Nazis anywhere else, I wouldn't have gotten any criticism. But it's because they're our neo-Nazis and we're celebrating them.
American lefties should probably stop calling people they disagree with Nazis. And Americans of any background should probably rethink the billions of our dollars that are going right now to actual Nazis.